Hi there, and welcome to the sixth episode of Shopify Kryptonite, the Woolman's official Shopify vlog. My name is Teemu Tolonen, and I have my great colleague Mikko Rekola here with me in this episode. Welcome, Mikko.
Hello, thank you. Glad to be here.
As always, we're going to be talking about what to learn from the best D2C brands. So brands like Allbirds, Everlane, Choppies, MVMT, those are the cases we've been kind of monitoring and then learning from in the past years. Before we go into the actual topic of the week, what's going to be the tip of the week, Mikko?
Good question, Teemu. Tip of the week comes directly from these very famous direct-to-consumer brands. The thing is that we've noticed that many of our clients are not using product reviews as much as they could. So product reviews are excellent content. Product reviews are something that you should utilize in your paid acquisition. You should do retargeting ads, customer acquisition ads that have those great reviews there. They will make sure that people actually are more connected with your brand, and they also help out that when there are possible clients who are like in doubt, should I get this product? What if this doesn't work? What if the fit isn't right? What if the color isn't quite up on my alley? That will then usually generate that positive push for clients to then try it out and purchase. So remember, utilize your product reviews also in paid marketing, including all sort of ads on Google, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and then possibly also in your email automation.
That's a good tip. I actually just activated the Google Rich Snippets on my Yotpo application, so you can see the 5-star reviews that I have in my product, and that's a good tip. I need to do some remarketing adjustments for the following weeks. D2C brands, there's Allbirds, there's MVMT, there's Everlane, there's Dollar Shave Club. I know that you've been kind of spending tons of time to studying those cases. I think there's a lot of things where we can learn as merchant or as partners, Shopify partners. So maybe we should start the conversation from the start. Where do how do the biggest or the greatest D2C brands get their business going? How they started?
Excellent question. Usually that comes up with the market situation. So that requires some like brilliant minds to understand that there is an empty position in the market. I need to do something else. I need to revolutionize an industry. I need to stand out, and I can create one excellent product or one excellent product that has some sort of like service combined. So you need to change the world a tiny bit, and you're aiming at the customers. What are the customers looking for? What can I do differently with my product? And how does it differ from all the others?
That's a good summary. I think a lot of people in general, they think that branding is designing, and design is a part of the branding experience. So I agree that you need to have something to bring additional value to the customer, either in the product, either in the customer experience, either in the promise that you actually give to the customers. And that will be it's going to be a strategic thing that you have in the whole business. It might influence the whole organization. So you kind of build the team around it, and then you make sure that everybody is believing in the same mission. They have the same values. I think there's going to be differences how the biggest or the greatest D2C brands build their organization. And I know that you've studied this as well. So what do you think, what kind of organization we should be having in a highly successful D2C case?
Excellent question. So as you might know, I have my background in these like Nordic D2C cases. I was part of finishbaybox.com, which was like one of the first direct-to-consumer cases that actually were able to scale up a bit. And then I was part of ambernight.com, which was doing the same in completely different kind of industry. And now been helping our local cases to do the same. And when it comes to the team, I think you really nailed it. It all comes to the team. So the team has to be agile, the team has to be flexible. And if I think about the most successful D2C cases, they are very keen to learn more, and the team has to be somewhat of a flexible. So even when I was in charge of customer acquisition, I was also doing other kind of things that were like related. So on days I was at the warehouse, I was trying to understand the logistics better. I was trying to understand the experience when it comes to the unboxing better. I was trying to understand many other things when it comes to the products better. So what does make our product so different? What's part of our NPS figures were when the customer satisfaction was on a top level, and what we can do better. So to understand this like e-commerce as a whole, to operate in a close relationship with all the colleagues. And then my like final advice, you have to be pretty good in math. So when you look at all the D2C cases and people working there, you need to calculate things, you need to do estimations, you need to really crush those numbers. So if math isn't your like strongest point, then I definitely recommend that you have colleagues who have like good background and knowledge of math and business in general.
Is it going to be mostly like running out of cash? What is the worry or concern you have regarding the numbers?
That's actually a good dilemma, because it's either cash or then it's products and stock. So depending on the success, you're always like running out of something, and then like trying to control and estimate the future. That's very bad, or not necessarily bad, but that's difficult, because you don't have like previous experiences. And now it's nice to see that you have like these public cases where you can some kind of do some kind of an estimate placed on those like well done playbooks of what this might be. But to be honest, like having these discussions with our clients who are doing like somewhat successful direct to consumers on a daily basis, it's super hard to estimate what will happen like next week or next month or next quarter, especially during these kind of times. So you need to do different kind of calculations. You need to try to estimate what might happen. And the best teams are really like flexible. So it might be that my goal was here on the left side, but then I end up to the right side. How to like optimize that? That's a completely new world.
Well, speaking of cash and finances, can we do it with our own money, or do we need a VC backing or some kind of investor already from the start if we want to aim high, like tens of millions or even plus 100 million in sales?
I love that question. So there is a big difference now between like US and Europe. If you look at the most famous US cases, as you mentioned, and then you look at some of those like European cases, they have started, the European cases have started more with own money, and they have been sort of like hesitant to take any more VC money in. And some have taken, we have some excellent examples from Denmark, from Germany, several from Sweden that have like aim high. But like in general, when you look at all of those like consumer cases that we have in Europe, quite many are playing the different game. So they are growing, but they're not growing on the scale if you compare to those really big like major US cases, which are like aiming at hundreds of millions or even more. For many of our clients, they are aiming at like in a single year, like double their revenue or triple their revenue. So they are growing, but like then compared to those major cases, the scale is very different.
I've seen the first cases now in Europe as well, where the new companies, they have VC backing, and the backing, it's actually backing, not maybe an investment at the start. So if they can prove that their business model, meaning that the cost of the customer acquisition is going to be lower than the current or the estimated customer lifetime value is positive, then they will basically get their hands to unlimited amounts of cash, which means that they can do bigger production, they can scale the paid ads, they can kind of push it really hard. And I think that's something we need in this market. So kind of the most potential cases, then they won't stop in the 2.5 million or 5 million in sales. Then they can basically test it and see how far you can go if you have the access to the funds, and then basically keep it profitable all the time, or at least you know that it's going to turn to be profitable, or you can prove that the model will be profitable in 6 months or 8 months. What's your favorite D2C case? I personally, I'm a big fan of Allbirds. I have one of their shoes. What kind of surprised me was that when I did the first purchase, I got some of their remarketing before I made the decision to buy the shoes. After the first purchase, what has surprised me is that I'm 38 now, so maybe I'm not in their target group, but kind of the amount of paid ads has been pretty low. So I think they are relying more on the brand. But yeah, back to the question. What's your favorite D2C brand, and what are kind of the key things that you have learned from that brand?
Right. So met those people, trying to learn from them. When it comes to design, I love Everlane. Everlane is doing like some amazing stuff when it comes to their like website design, when it comes to those brick and mortar stores. So I really like their items. I like the story. I like how they present themselves. But then because I have the other side, I love like brands like Chubbies who are doing something fun. I love Harry's Club. They're doing like fun things. They are bringing some positive energy, and that's something that I love that a good brand has. That always gives me that extra vibe. And then like replying to that other question of yours, I would love to see that in Europe there will be like different kind of D2C cases. So now if you look at the most successful cases, they have been like sunglasses or mobile phone cases or some very simple, straightforward clothing cases. I honestly believe that this D2C model gives you the opportunity to really be very successful in different kind of industries, and also selling goods that are far like less inexpensive than these items.
Do you think that there's still kind of space left in different categories that where kind of D2C is going to be a new thing?
Well, I see that, yes, and that's something that is changing like rapidly. Of course, now currently the situation is somewhat like uncertain. But if you're playing the long game, you're looking for 5 years period of time or 10 years, then definitely that's like changing the way people purchase items. And now when they are like aiming at online purchases even more, online currently might be the only channel where you can sell your products. So people get used to shopping online. And then the other thing that you can see when you're looking at these giant brands that have existed for 50 years, 100 years, 120 years, they have been just like maximizing the profit, which then is like completely okay in business. But the thing that they have done in many industries is actually they have tried to maximize the profit so that the product quality is getting down. And this is something that when you look at those like most known direct-to-consumer cases, for them, it's very important to make sure that the product quality is there and people are happy with the products.
Yeah, that sounds actually pretty good. You mentioned kind of the mindset and the organization being agile. So how does it actually see? How is it being seen in the daily business and daily operation? Is it kind of testing, trial, error? What do you think?
Yep. So if you look at those cases, how they are like managing their businesses, they are using like very agile methods. They are using different kind of sprint boards. They are trying to run as fast as they can. So the benefit when you have this kind of organization is that you can like readjust their roles. You can run all sort of tests. You can be very bold in things you do. So if you look at a traditional shaving brand and then you look at the consumer shaving brands, they are exploring more when it comes to their website, when it comes to their stories, when it comes to their product portfolio. They are doing lots of testing with their existing clients. When looking at those more traditional brands, they are like very hesitant to change anything. They are afraid of their own brand, and then it's like very interesting from a client's perspective. That okay, yeah, you existed for 100 years, but then like, okay, it's like the times are evolving. Are you so afraid of change that you're not actually willing to fulfill clients' needs now in 2020s?
I think there's going to be a lot of questions, but the timing now seems to be in our favor, or in the D2C concept favor. A lot of the categories, a lot of new business categories are going online so fast that it's kind of now or never for those companies who either haven't been online or they've been relying on their old business model with distributors, retailers, kind of having all kind of middlemen handling their business. So they don't know their customer, they don't they don't have a dialogue with the customer, and they don't know what the end user is actually thinking about the product. So
exactly,
yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes. Yeah.
Right, and Teemu, as you are a merchant, can I ask you a question? So what
Absolutely.
have you learned from your own clients? You have the luxury of being completely like having the whole brand yourself. You have been in touch with them, you are selling directly to them. What have you learned from your own clients? And then the second question, how has that changed your own brand and your like online commerce?
That's a perfect question, and I think that the biggest thing that I have actually learned is that I've kept my kind of ears and eyes open all the time. So when we started the business, and again, it's a small business, and I'm running it kind of on the side. So it's scaling slowly. We're doing good 6 figures in sales this year, but we've tested a lot of things. So kind of the advantage we have as a super small business and running it all the time on the side and kind of keeping it easy and small is that we can do testing. I can come up with the product idea today. I can come up with the marketing idea today, and we're going to be selling the service or the product already next day or next week by the latest. So we've been kind of testing it from A to Z, like different variations, different kind of products. And then that's the thing that's kind of taught me the most, that we didn't actually have that clear business plan when we started. There were a book, there were a couple of t-shirts or hoodies, and that was basically it. And now the categories we have at the moment, I would say that those are actually based on the customer feedback and from the data that we've gotten from the sales. We're kind of making the decisions on the new expansions, or pretty much not only based on the customer data and the customer feedback, but that is having a super big impact on the new product launches. And it can mean small things. It can mean kind of reviews. It can mean surveys, but it can be as a small thing that we have a cool product idea. We do a mock-up picture and we post it in the Instagram stories, and we get like tons of comments, and we can see that, okay, there's going to be a demand for this product and it's going to go live already next week. Then the other way could be that we believe that something is going to be really cool, really good. We're going to do new gear, bags, pliers, whatever the fisherman actually needs. We don't ask anything from the customers. We put it out there, and after a month, we're kind of depressed that this didn't go nearly as well as we planned. So kind of the more you can test, the more you can get the feedback. I think that should be the kind of the base, how you grow the business, how you scale it, how you get the customers, and kind of what kind of decisions you make. So you don't have to have that clear idea about the brand and all the categories that you're going to be into on day one. You can test it, you can try it, and you can do small or big adjustments based on the customer feedback that you get from different channels. So yeah, pretty long answer, but I would say that I have tried to develop a business which is reflecting the needs that our customers have, and also kind of reflecting on the ideas that we want to pursue as a brand.
Right. Sounds very good.
It is, and it's fun. I think we're going to be done for the episode 6. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned a few tricks from the brands, the direct to consumer brands. This was Shopify Kryptonite and episode 6, and we're going to be back with the brand new topic on episode 7. So stay tuned. And again, if you have any comments, please feel free to post them below here or contact Woolman directly. See you next week.
Good luck. Take care.